All right, fingers crossed that Quinn stays asleep. I got the baby monitor here, so if you hear swishing in the background, that is his noise machine. So we'll see how long he sleeps. But welcome to the video, you guys. I got my collagen coffee for some pick-me-up. It is the afternoon. I already had my collagen coffee in the morning, but I really needed some caffeine because little guy was up at 5 a.m. We made it. We had our first successful flight with our baby, with our 3.5-month-old. We flew from Seattle to Hawaii, so it was a 6.5-hour flight. Today, he is 4 months old, which time is flying. It's so true, the saying that says the days are long but the years are short. I can so relate to that already. Also, I'm very sorry I have not uploaded to YouTube, and I think it's been 3 weeks. A lot of things have happened. As you guys know, I went to Hawaii and then I came back with an infected cyst, which actually was infected before going to Hawaii. And then it got delayed on treatment because of the trip. And then I got back last week, got infected, and I was put on multiple different antibiotics, and then I got a fever, and then I got C. diff and diarrhea, and oh my gosh, I'm just now feeling almost 100%. I'm probably 90%. I'm just kind of really feeling tired, but most of my symptoms from the C. diff are gone, and my cyst is healing quite nicely. It was drained a few days ago, and so I've been doing wound care on it twice a day, but all that's finally going well, and I'm finally feeling better. But I really wanted to film this video for you guys because I got a lot of requests over Instagram asking for tips that I've learned along the way, things that we've learned with flying with a baby, what worked, what didn't work. So I'm here to share with you guys what we've learned with flying with a baby. Now, granted, he's young, only 3 months, so he doesn't need a whole lot of entertainment yet. He basically just feeds every 2 to 3 hours, which I am breastfeeding, so I'll give you guys some tips on that with the airport and flying on breastfeeding. But basically, he nurses just every 2 to 3 hours, and he sleeps, and then his wake periods aren't really that long, maybe like an hour at the most, and he just kind of likes to look around and maybe smile and interact with people. He's really only fussy if he has a dirty diaper, he's hungry, or he's tired. And so he really is young still. It's gonna be a whole different ball game once we fly to California for Christmas to see our family when I think he's gonna be 10 months old. I think it's gonna be a whole different situation then because he'll be a lot more active. He'll be mobile at that point, at least crawling. And I was observing an 8-month-old next to us, and he was so active. I felt so bad for the mom. He was like screaming the whole time because he was bored. And so I think the younger the baby is, honestly, I think the easier they are to travel with. Once they become mobile, I probably like 6 months and older, I think it becomes a lot more difficult. And then when they become walking age, game over. I have a nephew who's 2.5, and I guess it was challenging flying with him because he's got to walk the halls of the plane, and he's so active. And as long as I think your baby is younger than 6 months, I think it's a lot easier. And newborns are probably the breeze because all they do is sleep and eat. So, but before I get into this video, I did want to welcome you guys who are brand new. Welcome to my channel. I normally, if I'm not sick or on a trip, I upload one video every Sunday morning Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock normally in the morning, all about living healthy. And the past year it's been IVF, and of course my baby is my IVF miracle. And so my goal is to share with you guys everything when it comes to everything that I've learned with IVF and IVF pregnancy and now having an IVF baby. So I share all of that. So I'm gonna get into some footage here and a voiceover, but before I do want to show you our snack pack. So I didn't get any footage of this during our trip, but I packed a Ziploc bag full of snacks just like this one. I packed this for you guys just to show you, but I packed like protein bars, protein sticks, Kind bars, nuts, of course Snickers for a treat, but really like anything that is really high in protein I tried to grab and put in here, and we heavily relied on our snack pack. Traveling with a baby, it's really hard to fit in meals, especially if you're having trouble with flights or like getting through the airport or whatever, just because you're gonna have a lot more things with a baby, which I'll get into. But having snacks on hand really saved Josh and I. There were a couple meals that we had to skip just because, and I'll get into this, but we were late to our flight because we didn't really plan ahead. So we've learned a lot with having a baby on a flight, but I'm so glad we had our snack pack. And of course, you guys know I'm sponsored by Phorm now, so I wanted to show you a couple things I put in here. These meat sticks are delicious, 20 grams of protein per stick, so very convenient, high protein snack. Their bars are pretty tasty. They are whey protein. I really want to see them make a vegan protein bar, so maybe I will, actually I do plan on suggesting that to them, but they are pretty tasty if you guys do eat whey protein. And I'll put links to all those snack items down below. If you do end up shopping through my links, I do get a small commission, so greatly appreciated, but no pressure on that. Also, before I get into the video, before I forget, because I literally still have baby brain, Congress just passed in 2020 a bill requiring airports to have a lactation area for mothers. It's called the Friendly Airports for Mothers Improvement Act, or FAM for short. And so it was just passed in 2020, and what it is it's requiring all medium and big airports to require like a lactation room or a lactation area for nursing mothers. And it also requires at least one bathroom, male and female, in each terminal to have like a changing table. So this bill is requiring medium and large airports to do all of that right now, but it's not requiring small airports to comply to this until I believe like the end of this year. But by the end of 2023, all airports, large and small, need to have a lactation area for nursing mothers, and they need to provide a changing table and a male bathroom and a female bathroom in each terminal. We were at a really small airport in Hawaii, and they did not have a lactation room. They did have a changing table in the women's bathroom at least, and they did provide a like family style bathroom, so Josh could come into the bathroom with me and help me change Quinn, but there wasn't a lactation area. So literally what I ended up doing was nursing him on the toilet, which really sucked. I mean, it got the job done, but by the end of 2023, even small airports need to comply with a lactation area. So I am so happy to learn all of that and to pass that information on to you guys. All right, so sit back, relax, and enjoy some of the things that we learned with flying with a baby and some tips that I want to pass on to you guys. All right, so this is super early in the morning, 4:30 to be exact. And my first tip to you guys is to feed your baby right before you leave the house to go to the airport. So we laid out all of our things the night before. Of course, our suitcases were packed and my clothes were all laid out. So I got myself ready first, and then I fed Quinn. So I didn't have to worry about feeding him for a while, at least a couple of hours. So after feeding him, we loaded him up in the car seat. We did end up bringing both the car seat and the base because we just felt safest that way, as we were gonna get a rental car once we hit Hawaii. We will definitely be happy once we have everything inside the airport. He's happy back there though. So I am very happy to announce to you guys that security let me bring my breast milk through, and I am hearing that they allow formula to go through security as well. I also brought an extra empty bottle just in case the one that I was using broke or whatever, if I needed an extra bottle. This is all the stuff we brought. It's quite a bit, and we should have left our house an hour earlier. So that is my next tip to you guys, is leave your house like way earlier than you would normally leave without a baby. Just having a baby and all the things that you need just takes so much longer to transport and travel with. So we were definitely late getting to the airport. Well, we wouldn't have been late if we didn't have the baby. We should have left a lot earlier, because once we got to the airport was super crowded, and we definitely almost missed our flight. See him in there? We did it. We were definitely so relieved that we got on this flight, and on top of that, Quinn was happy the entire time. Actually, we were like running through the airport, so we didn't want to miss our flight, and I had him in my arms, and he thought the whole thing was funny the entire time. So I'm glad he was happy at least. Very stressful. So once we got over our trauma of almost missing our flight, my next tip is feed your baby when the plane is taking off and when the plane is landing, because that way the act of them swallowing and feeding will help protect their ears from popping and help with the pain of the pressure in their ears. I did that with Quinn and it worked like a charm. He seemed comfortable the whole time. He didn't cry. He didn't seem like he was in any pain. So this is us. We've landed in Hawaii, successful flight. But let me get into real quick what we brought in our strategy getting to the airport. So on this flight, we ended up checking one bag and bringing on one bag. And then we checked our car seat and our stroller and our bassinet. But what we should have done is we should have checked everything. It was just really hard carrying a baby and then dealing with a bag and our carry-ons. I carried on his diaper bag, which also doubled as my purse. I just put my wallet and my phone in his diaper bag, and then Josh had a backpack, but it was like way too much to handle with a baby. I did bring his front pack, but I didn't end up using it because it was just an extra thing, and he doesn't really like the front pack anymore. So highly recommend that you just check everything once you get to the airport, and maybe just bring a front pack if your baby likes the front pack to carry him through the airport, or keep your baby in the stroller until you get to the gate and then check your stroller at the gate, because then that way you have something convenient to carry your baby in. We have finally arrived at our Airbnb, and this is our little setup here. I do want to talk about why we brought our bassinet instead of the pack and play. Quinn does have a pack and play, but it's actually a lot heavier than his bassinet. His bassinet is more compact and lighter weight, so it's easier to travel with it. Plus he's used to his bassinet. There's his sound machine that's essential for sleep. So that's my next tip, is to bring whatever baby is used to for sleep, and that way when you're in a strange environment, he or she can fall asleep more easily. So sound machine for Quinn, his bassinet, his weighted swaddle that he has on right now. So because he had all of his essential sleeping things, he was able to fall asleep very easily despite the 3-hour time difference. So Josh and I were able to enjoy the beach for a little bit after Quinn fell asleep. So, you know, the Hawaii beaches are beautiful, and this one just happened to be 1 block away from my Airbnb. So I have my whole family with us here. We're enjoying the sunset. And in a couple nights from this night, my sister got married, which is a beautiful wedding. So glad we made the sacrifice and went through the stress to get to Hawaii with the baby, because her wedding was absolutely beautiful. And I do have 3 younger sisters, for those of you who don't know. And she's the second one underneath me. I'm the oldest. And so she's actually the last one to get married. So it was super special because now all of us sisters are married and we're all having kids now. So it was a huge celebration. Just beautiful. And of course, this time of year in Hawaii is absolutely beautiful. Hawaii is beautiful in general, always. But it was just really nice to get away to a beautiful place with my whole family.
We're here! We made it!
We're exhausted.
We're very tired, but worth it.
No, there's a little
Crap,
one.
show yourself.
Right there, Josh. Look. Right there. Okay, so this was actually the next morning. I had just gotten done feeding him, and Josh is still asleep. I wanted to touch on the fact that I was missing my nursing pillow so much. I didn't bring it because it just seemed too bulky to bring. But now in hindsight, if I were to do it all over again, I would definitely bring my nursing pillow. And I use the one that's called my Breast Friend. I can put a link down below. I highly recommend that breastfeeding pillow. I was trying to use the Airbnb pillows and they just weren't cutting it. And the whole time I was there, which we were only there for 4 days, I was struggling to breastfeed him in terms of my posture, and I was bending over too much and my arms were hurting, and he's 14 pounds now. So it was really hard to breastfeed him on the trip without my pillow. We're actually here in line for breakfast. The next morning after I fed him, after you saw that, we walked to breakfast, and so glad we brought his stroller because he's getting heavy now and he loves his stroller. So it was great to have the stroller to walk to breakfast.
We're ready for the beach. We got our new swim trunks on. Yeah, we're ready for the beach. First time with the beach. Yeah! What does that look? We're loaded up. First beach trip. Yay! Bringing his bouncer so he has somewhere to sit. Hey, we're all loaded up.
So my next tip to you guys is to bring some sort of seat for your baby, especially if they can't sit up on their own. So for Quinn, he loves his bouncer. He also loves his electric swing that he has at home, but his bouncer was way more convenient to bring with us instead of his electric swing. So we brought his bouncer, and it really came in handy to be able to put him down somewhere safely.
Wow. Oh, look at the water.
We're arriving at our first beach day in Hawaii and Quinn's first beach experience ever. We ended up changing him and getting him ready in the trunk of our car that we rented, and that actually worked out really well. So just utilize whatever trunk space or whatever car space you have for your baby, and it works out really well. Also, wherever you're traveling to, remember that there's normally stores around, and whatever you forget you can buy. So we forgot beach towels, so we ended up buying cheap ones at Walmart. That worked out really well. Here's our little setup at the beach.
That's so cute.
I was so surprised at how well Quinn handled the water. Didn't cry. He didn't seem like phased at all. He wasn't really that expressive, but I think he had a fun time. It definitely got him really tired. This is the next day at my sister's wedding. I wanted to show you guys my nursing cover. I highly recommend this nursing cover. I've probably tried 4 different ones and they're all too hot or uncomfortable, or I can't see him underneath of it. So I really like this one. I used it throughout the trip, at the airport, on the airplane. And Hawaii is really hot and humid, especially this time of year. And Quinn didn't mind nursing underneath of it. And that's a big deal because he is a hot baby. He runs hot normally, and he did not mind nursing underneath it. This is where my sister got married. It was absolutely beautiful. And this is the next day. We went to this really cute Kona coffee shop. This is where my sister's fiance, now husband, works, and we wanted to make a point to visit it, and it was just really cute. And coffee is so delicious. Kona coffee is the best, especially from this coffee shop because they cultivate their own beans. And this was our little breakfast of chia pudding and fresh fruit. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. The food here is fantastic. We had some more poke. We lived off of poke because it's all the poke that we got in Hawaii was freshly caught that morning. And this was actually our last day in Hawaii. So at lunch here, Josh and I were just talking about our strategy flying home with Quinn and what we should do differently. We really didn't do anything differently. We ended up just checking all of our bags because we didn't do that before, which made the flight a lot easier just to deal with our carry-ons and Quinn and not have to deal with like an extra bag. So we checked everything. And he ended up doing really well again on this flight. There's a little man back there. You can see him in the mirror. He did so good. We're on our way back from the airport. We made it. Successful trip. Mission accomplished. He was so good on the flight home and on the flight there, but especially on the flight home. He just slept and ate. I nursed him, changed his diaper a couple times. That was all easy. It's almost like we were just talking. It's almost like he knew we were really stressed coming back, and like he was such a good baby. Props to little Quinn over there. We are 20 minutes away from home. Oh, yes. Flashback to all of the cousins hanging out, which I thought was super cute. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, if you found it helpful. I will see you in the next one, and always remember to be kind to yourself.